What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam, and we are back for another Comically Boston Monday morning podcast, where every Monday we talk the weekly nerdy news and everything that happened in the last week in nerddom. And the biggest topic of today that we'll be talking about towards the end of this episode is that Amazon Prime Video has cast their Kratos, and Gary Bertier from Remember the Titans is now Kratos, which is insane, but we'll talk more about that at the end. And if you know Gary Bertier, you can never replace a Gary Bertier. Oh man, what an actor. But we'll talk more about that at the end. We got some Odyssey little bits to start out the show. We got some other movies to talk about, some big Star Wars news, some interesting little Marvel news that I saw this week that was, I was pondering, is this a good idea to put out there, you know what I mean, and is it just confusing people? But we'll get into it all. And the first topic of today is the Odyssey, and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were recently on Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show, and they were promoting their newest film, The Rip, on Netflix right now, which I actually quite enjoyed, and a movie review will be coming late for that later this week. And Matt Damon had said that on any of the other movies he's ever done, The Odyssey is the hardest movie he's ever done, but it also the most rewarding, and, he loved every second of it, and he got in crazy shape for it, and, I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, so for me, I can't wait to see more from that movie, an official trailer, and, really get to feast my eyes on, what this movie could be bringing, and, from what he had to say, and how excited he seems to be about it, I think this movie is going to be incredible, guys. It really is going to be something. But The Rip, make sure you guys go check that out on Netflix, because they did something special where they made sure with Netflix, if the movie performs well, the cast and crew, and all the 1,200 crew members will get bonuses if the thing does well, which, seems like a no-brainer. Should be something that has happened the whole time through Netflix. But, this is the first big time movie that, the stars are talking about it, and they were promoting the movie saying that. So now, the film's #1 on Netflix, so that makes me feel good. At least, every time I go and just put it on and put it on mute and just let it run in the background, it feels good, just leaving something running on Netflix and letting it help other people's wallets and the people that worked on the movie, And honestly, I think it made the movie better. But we'll talk more about The Rip later this week in a movie review, so stay tuned for that. And we'll talk more about The Odyssey when we get more information and we get another trailer. Or, when's that coming out? August or July or something like that? So the summer for The Odyssey is going to be insane. Another movie that looks real good, and we got a couple movie posters here for a film by Emerald Fennell, and she, I believe, is an Oscar winner or some type of award-winning director. She does great stuff. And Margot Robbie looks so elegant in an all-white gown here, and the, what is that, the drape, I don't know, whatever you would call that, is flowing behind her, and it looks insane. And this is a Dolby Cinemas poster, and it's only in theaters February 13th. And we also have another poster here for her co-star, Jacob Elordi, and he's standing in front of this tree, and he's growing out his hair, got a big beard. Yeah, not bad. Especially for him coming off of Frankenstein as the creature in Frankenstein. Oh, such a good role for him, and he really crushed it. And honestly, he won a Critics' Choice Award, I believe, for his role as the creature in Frankenstein, but I feel like he should win much more. Much more. That movie is so underrated. And honestly, Oscar Isaac should be winning for that film too, because that movie, absolutely unbelievable. Guillermo del Toro really did his damn thing. Cate Blanchett will be back as Valka in the new live-action How to Train Your Dragon 2, right? She was the animated Valka, which, if you guys know from How to Train Your Dragon, the animated movies, Valka is the main character's, Hiccup's mother. And Hiccup's father in the live-action version was played by Gerard Butler, who also voiced the character, so he reprised his role for live-action, so Cate Blanchett is as well. And the two of them, having a moment together in the second movie, I just can't wait to see a live-action Gerard Butler bring that to life, where, he sees Cate Blanchett's Valka for the first time, and he's like, "You're as beautiful as the day I lost you." Oh, I'm getting chills thinking about it. But, fucking How to Train Your Dragon animated movies, highly underrated. Like, such good movies. And the live action, pretty much just a shot-for-shot remake, just done in live action. So it still looks good, just, you know, I feel like they should take a little bit of liberty for the live action and do some more. You know, some stuff that maybe got left on the cutting room floor for the animated stuff. Throw that into the live action. Why not? It's live action, you know? Why make a shot-for-shot remake and not do anything different? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta do something different. But that'll be good. Cate Blanchett back doing her damn thing. Now, another movie from Maggie Gyllenhaal is the director of the movie The Bride. In the poster here for The Bride with Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale as Frankenstein and Jessie Buckley as his bride. And I believe she's winning a bunch of awards right now for her role in Hamnet with Chloe Zhao and starring alongside Paul Mescal. So, you know, Jessie Buckley starring as the bride of Frankenstein, the bride with an exclamation point. And I just thought it was funny that Maggie Gyllenhaal explained why there's an exclamation mark in the title. I almost felt a little naughty when I put it on the title page. Like, is someone gonna tell me no? You know, like, and just reading that, I made me giggle because I was like, I could picture her just being like, the bride. You know, just putting the exclamation point and just being like, that feels wrong. But it feels right. I'm leaving it, you know, and now that the title of the movie isn't just The Bride, it's The Bride! Question mark, or not question mark, exclamation point, question mark, The Bride? No, it's The Bride, you know, it's not The Bride, you know. Another little bit of a first look that we saw the other day from Sophie Turner as Lara Croft in the new live-action Tomb Raider series that's going to be coming to Amazon Prime Video very soon. So it seems Amazon Prime has quite a bit in the works. They got Tomb Raider, they got God of War going on, so damn Prime, what you up to over there? But Sophie Turner as Lara Croft, this was, you know, some drama going around. And some people really are here for it. Some people aren't here for it. They liked the last girl that never really got a chance to do much. Some people are still diehards for, like, Angelina Jolie, Lara Croft, which, badass. But I don't know if, like, that movie's any good, you know? I don't even know if I've ever played the Tomb Raider video games. I probably would really like it. They, you know, just from the name of it reminds me of maybe like an Uncharted type of game where she's, you know, treasure hunting type of thing, type of vibe. But you're playing as this gorgeous woman with thigh straps for her guns and shoulder straps, you know, like... I don't know, the red glasses on Sophie Turner in this picture too, and she's been getting insanely good shape for this role. Like, I don't know. I'm not really here for Sophie Turner. I didn't necessarily love her as Jean Grey in those X-Men movies. I didn't necessarily love her as Sansa Stark, although as Sansa Stark is where she did her best work that I've seen, at least. So, I don't know. She's getting jacked. She's doing her thing. I think in Lara Croft for Amazon, I think Amazon will fuck it up before Sophie Turner does. You know what I mean? But who knows, you know, don't give her too much credit. We haven't seen her actually as Lara Croft yet, but just from the looks, I think this looks pretty damn good, and I think she's going to crush it. Because sometimes that's all it is. You nail the look, and the rest of it falls into place, you know? But if it doesn't look right, then you're out of it from the first second, you know what I mean? Like, even the Fallout series, you know? Like, Ella Purnell, not only is she captivating to look at on screen, the look of, like, the vault jacket, the pit boy on her wrist, you know, like even the ghoul, the looks of everybody and the power armor look on camera, it all looks correct, so therefore you buy into the rest of it, and the rest of it can kind of fall into place because you have nailed the look, you know? Even the new Harry Potter series, if they don't nail the look, the whole thing will be off, you know? And then once they nail the look, then they gotta get the vibe. And then once they get the look and the vibe, then they have to tell good stories, you know what I mean? Like, a lot goes into just telling a movie. You can't just write a script and be like, bam, there it is. No, like, you need the people that have the set dressing, the set design, the costume department, right? Like, it goes a long way to make something good, you know? So, can't just say something will be good just from a first look, but sometimes the look goes a long way, you know what I mean? Things start falling into place after. Speaking of falling into place for the DCU here, someone asked on, looks like Threads the other day, James Gunn, when do we get more Creature Commandos? And he says, when we are done animating the new season, which is in production now. So it seems like they're currently animating Creature Commando Season 2. Maybe they haven't gotten to, like, the voice acting yet, but maybe they're doing them together. I don't know. But someone else then asked, does the new season take place before or after Peacemaker Peacemaker Season 2, and James Gunn said after. So, as far as Creature Commandos Season 2, I really liked Season 1, but at the end of Season 1, we saw King Shark was there. Some people had died. I won't spoil it for you. If you haven't seen it, go check out Creature Commandos. Watch my breakdowns on the channel. I really liked Creature Commandos. G.I. Robot, my coin-operated boy, I'm so here for him. I would love to kill Nazis with G.I. Robot. But Creature Commandos, too, any animated DC fans out there, more will be coming in the future for that. Moving over into some Star Wars news, Kathleen Kennedy has officially exited Lucasfilm, and it has been announced that Dave Filoni and Lynne Brennan will serve as co-presidents going forward for Lucasfilm. And I believe Dave Filoni will be in charge of all of the creative development and oversee all of that, and Lynne Brennan will oversee all executive duties. Kathleen Kennedy, while she was on her way out, also gave some updates on the future for Star Wars films. And the films that we had, in the works were like James Mangold was making a really old, starting the maybe first Jedi type of thing, like the origins of the Jedi maybe. That film has been on hold, but has an incredible script, so maybe James Mangold is just working on multiple other things, so they're waiting for him to have schedule time. Donald Glover was working on a Lando film that we had been talking about since like Rogue One days. He has turned in a script for the Lando movie, so if that's any good, maybe that will come into fruition in the future. Simon Kinberg, director that many people know, I'm not sure where I know him from, but I recognize that name. But Simon Kinberg is actively developing and working on a trilogy of films that Dave and Lynne are very on board for. Interesting. So he's got a new trilogy for Star Wars coming? That could be interesting. Taika Waititi was also working on a Star Wars film, and he turned in a script for a film that she calls hilarious and great. So, very funny. Taika Waititi sticking to the humor and comedy side of things, and maybe we get like a comedy type of Star Wars film in the future, maybe turned into a Disney Plus show, who knows. And then she also confirms that The Hunt for Ben Solo, that many people were hyped about and then had been confirmed that it was canceled, and then maybe confirmed that it was coming back or rumored that it was coming back, she confirms that The Hunt for Ben Solo script is also on the back burner. So something that's not necessarily going to be happening right away, but I don't know. I'm thinking a Lando movie, The Hunt for Ben Solo, with bringing Kylo back could be very interesting. Simon Kinberg working on a trilogy. I'm not sure if that's like with Daisy Ridley, and maybe that's like continuing on the episodes that we already have of Star Wars. But as far as like what we know for sure coming next year, or this year, not even next year at this point. We're in 2026, baby. So coming this year, less than 5 months out, or maybe about 5 months out, depending on the day in May, Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu will be returning Star Wars to theaters, which is going to be super exciting, and I can't wait for. And there's also going to be, I think, Ahsoka Season 2 will be out this year as well on Disney Plus. So I'm hyped. And hopefully the Dave Filoni Heir to the Empire film is still in the works, after that. But I'm excited, man. And honestly, even more excited than the films, I saw this little rumor going around the other day that Star Wars Jedi 3, so the video game for the third Jedi trilogy game for Cal Kestis, has been rumored that it's going to be revealed and released this year in 2026, and that was according to insider Tim Geddes. So, Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor? What will the third title be? Star Wars Jedi Conqueror? I don't know. Cal Kestis, though, is an incredible character. Cameron Monaghan absolutely crushing it as that character. So to see him get a trilogy of video games, I hope that leads to a trilogy of video games and then seeing that character in live action. If anything, if he dies in this video game and we don't get him in live action, I will be so upset. Like, that's like the same thing as like Uatu the Watcher in What If for Marvel. If he doesn't end up showing up as Jeffrey Wright in the MCU as the Uatu the Watcher in live action, I'll be highly upset. Even if they do like a CGI big head, they still gotta have Uatu and Jeffrey Wright as a character in the MCU in live action. I feel like that's a missed opportunity if they don't. And it would be a missed opportunity for Star Wars as well if they don't include Cal Kestis in the stories that they're telling going forward. But speaking of not including somebody going forward, I have this interesting clip from a podcast that Tatiana Maslany was on. And the picture on top says Tatiana Maslany makes fun of unverified rumors about her quitting the MCU on Comedy Bang Bang. So I think Comedy Bang Bang is the podcast. And it says making fun of it. But from the audio, I don't know, maybe she's just being highly sarcastic. But like when you say something on a podcast and then it gets reported in text doesn't have the sarcasm the way like a video does. You know, even just audio, sometimes you can't see that she's being sarcastic. So let's take a listen to this and you guys tell me, does it sound like she's actually done with the MCU or is she being sarcastic?
You're back in Avengers Doomsday.
Nope.
Whoa,
now
what's going on?
Disney has approached me to play She-Hulk again.
Okay.
Guys, I said no.
What?
Okay?
What happened?
Wow.
Because I just did. This is the facts. They're out
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
You can
Just
read
tell
the
it-
articles about it.
Tell us what happened.
I was really mad at them for letting me sue them. For kicking me out of the movie. I was
Right.
just mad. I was just general. I'm just
They took Ryan Reynolds' side on the movie.
Woke feminist stuff.
Yeah.
And
You were upset at them trying to shove the woke agenda down our throats
I was mad. Yeah, honestly.
with your casting.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, how dare you cast a woman in this role? That's disgusting. I'm embarrassed to even
gross.
be here.
Yeah.
So
I shouldn't be speaking.
they came to you. What they wanted you to be the
They
star of
really
Doomsday?
wanted me to be a Doomsday Avengers style. or
And you
whatever.
just said you flat turned them.
I
turned them down.
turned them down.
Wow.
You said no. I'm in Star Trek now.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is crazy.
some
And this
amounts
is
of
the
episodes.
first time this is coming out. This is the first time you're
No, this
confirming
came out. This came out.
This came out already, but
Yeah.
you're confirming it.
I'm confirming it here. Yeah.
So it does sound like they're joking and like making fun of Disney, but I know that there was some stuff a while back when, you know, Kimmel was getting fired and shit that she was like, fuck you guys, and like she was one of the most vocal people, like, I am not happy with the bullshit, fascist bullshit that you're doing, you know, and like, I don't know. I mean, I love, some people hated She-Hulk and hated Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. I was one of the few, I think, or, you know, maybe there's a bunch, but me personally, I loved She-Hulk. I loved Tatiana Maslany as Jen Walters as She-Hulk. I loved them both. I loved that Jen Walters was funny as hell. I loved that She-Hulk was also, you know, ferocious and green, but also still sexy somehow. And then, like, she was fucking Daredevil, you know, like, I fucking am so here for She-Hulk. And, I mean, I would hope. I mean, I did see some concept art of like her and Hulk in like a Hulk village in Avengers Doomsday, so maybe that could be like a alternate dimension She-Hulk and Hulk world type thing. I'm not sure, you know, just from the way she said it, it sounds like they're making fun of it, but it also sounds like at the end, oh, I'm confirming, you know, these were rumors that came out. So maybe she's making fun of all the rumors in general and just saying like, oh yeah, it came out, I sued them, they're fascists. So the guy said something about Ryan Reynolds. I remember hearing drama on set of Ryan Reynolds and somebody were fighting, but then that wasn't confirmed. It might have been rumors, but then it like sounded pretty real. And there's still things out there that like Ryan Reynolds and Dr. Doom, or maybe like Pedro and somebody. I don't know. Drama on the set of Avengers Doomsday between 60 fucking actors is crazy. But if Tatiana Maslany is one of them, she wasn't on the set chair and she hasn't been confirmed yet for Avengers Doomsday, but I certainly would not want them to recast her, and I would want to see She-Hulk again in the MCU, you know, and that feels like one of the characters that's up in the air and not sure if we're going to see him again or not, you know, and it's unfortunate. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that little clip there. Weigh in, you know, is she sarcastic? Is she for real? You know, what's the odds She-Hulk comes back? You know, I'd love to hear your thoughts. In other Marvel news, though, Marvel Studios is reportedly developing an animated Avengers series, which, of course, there's tons of animated Marvel series, but not any that have been made since, like, Disney Plus has come out, unless they're, like, for kids. So I'm thinking maybe more so along the lines of, like, X-Men 97 or Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Marvel Studios, or Marvel Animation, is trying to do an Avengers series for Disney Plus, which I would probably watch if it is along the lines of, like, X-Men 97. That's not necessarily a kid's show. That is animated, but that's an adult show, and it's fucking badass. Can't wait for X-Men 97 Season 2. And in other Marvel and superhero news, Sam Raimi was asked recently what's his biggest criticism of modern superhero films. And he said that they don't offer me more of them. And fuck yeah, give Sam Raimi some more to do, goddammit. I mean, we got Spider-Man trilogy from Tobey Maguire, right? Like, some of my all-time favorite movies. Maybe the reason why I'm into these things the way I am. And then he also did Multiverse of Madness, which was really, you know, at the start, initially I wasn't necessarily here for it because it didn't connect to the MCU the way I wanted to. It promised a Multiverse of Madness. We really didn't go to the multiverse very much. You know, we went to maybe one other universe, but we didn't really jump around multiverses and have cameos and stuff that people thought was going to happen for that movie. But then after the fact, revisiting it and watching it just as a Sam Raimi horror film where like Scarlet Witch is the creepy villain and like Doctor Strange is doing some creepy dark death magic, you know, like it's a very good Sam Raimi film, although initially I didn't like it, but it's grown on me quite a bit, you know, and how many Marvel films can you say that, where initially you didn't like it and then it grew on you and now you do, you know, like, if anything, it goes in the other direction. I initially liked it, Thor Love and Thunder, and now I hate it, you know, like, I don't know, but comment below, should Sam Raimi get more superhero films? I think, hell yes, maybe even some DC, why not? James Gunn, go snag Sam Raimi and make him do some films over there. But the final topic of today, Amazon Prime and their Kratos God of War series. Big news last week, lit up the internet. Ryan Hurst, who I know as Gary Bertier in Remember the Titans, fuck yeah, but he's also been in things like The Walking Dead, Sons of Anarchy. I believe he's in the Christopher Nolan The Odyssey film coming up as well. But he has been cast as Kratos in God of War. And you know him from Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead, Remember the Titans. And God of War will come to Amazon Prime Video as a new series following the Norse games. I believe they're going to do, you know, God of War Ragnarok. So maybe like 2 seasons of a show rather than going way back to like the Greek gods. But hell, if they're making a God of War, you know, trilogy game, maybe they go God of War, you know, and they do the Norse stuff and then the next set of games goes and does some like Egyptian stuff. You know, so maybe the show can keep going, or maybe it just will not adapt the games thoroughly and directly and it kind of does its own thing anyways. Who knows? But I think it should be more of like a limited series and adapt it pretty closely to the games as possible. Maybe give us stuff that we couldn't have necessarily done in a video game, you know, more emotional stuff. Maybe give us more of Kratos and Faye, you know, have a Deborah Ann Woll come back as Faye for this show as well. But just seeing the picture of Ryan Hurst side by side with like that Kratos, I don't know. I mean, considering the last 2 Kratoses were black, and like I really wanted Christopher Judge to get the role in live action, but he's like up there in age. I think he's up there in his 60s by the time this starts shooting, and maybe by the time it ends, I mean, he could be in his 70s. Do you want a 70-year-old black man getting painted white, right? Which is also a thing. I was like, is Amazon racist for casting a white man as Kratos? Or are they scared? Were they too scared to paint a black man white, and they were like, oh god, we can't do whiteface on a black guy, so we have to cast a white guy? And then is casting the white guy racist? Like, because it's been 2 black guys before. But I was having that thought initially. But Christopher Judge then commented and tweeted, I'm very happy for this casting. Congrats, Ryan. You're gonna be great, boy. You know, so boy. As long as Christopher Judge is on board with this casting is all that really matters to me. But then it also came to mind for me that Ryan Hurst here was also in Thor Ragnarok, the video game, and he did the, I believe, maybe just the voice, but maybe also the motion capture for Thor, right? So that big-ass Thor from God of War Ragnarok that everybody loved, that's who's going to be Kratos in the live action. So that I'm very happy with. I'm like, all right, this guy might be great, you know, like, and I love him as Gary Bertier, and I really haven't seen him in much since, you know, Remember the Titans as a young boy, so I'm sure he's going to do great, just I need to see more of his work as an older man. But so we have Ryan Hurst confirmed as Kratos, and then rumors have been that Max Parker is going to play Balder, and then sorry, I'm going to butcher this name, Olafur Dari Olafsson whew, he's gonna play Thor, and he seems like a big butch Viking big guy. He almost looks exactly like Thor as is, so you know, the pretty good rumored casting for the other two guys as well. But I don't know, man, Balder is a badass fucking character, and so is Thor. So if season 1 we're really adapting Balder the way we should be, season 2 we're doing Thor, as long as they cast Odin correctly, even get the same guy that did him from the games, oh, I'm gonna be really here for this. But Ryan Hurst posted a picture of him sitting in front of a screen that says God of War on it, and he said, "Used to play as him, now I get to be him. Grateful to pick up the axe and honored by the fans who made this story legendary." All right. Interesting. All right, I'm on board. I was skeptical. I'm on board. So here is everything we know about the God of War TV show so far. 2 seasons have been confirmed by Amazon Prime TV. Season 1 will have 10 episodes. The tone will emulate that of the games with the focus on the Norse saga. Pre-production is underway in Vancouver. Filming set to begin in March of 2026. Hype. Ryan Hurst is cast as Kratos, and he's also known for voicing God of War Ragnarok's Thor. Cory Barlog, director of the 2018 game, is involved as an executive producer. Ronald D. Moore, who did Battlestar Galactica and Outlander, is the showrunner, writer, and executive producer. Interesting. Frederick E.O. Toe of Shogun will direct the first 2 episodes. And if you guys didn't see Shogun, that show was very well done. So if they're getting that type of guy to make sure that the first 2 episodes are kicking off the series the way they should be, that's probably a good move. The series underwent a creative overhaul in 2024. It restarted a lot of things since being announced in 2022. So, you know, they had been working on it for 2 years, and then it seems like in 2024 they were like, scrap some of this bullshit. Let's do, you know, like, let's be serious about this, but let's get some footing under us that we can actually go with. And it seems the creative overhaul has worked, and now with Ryan Hurst, we're underway. And a lot of castings are being done now, and we can expect more confirmations in the next 2 months, most likely to launch late 2027. This will be a banger, and absolutely will be a banger. I just can't wait, you know, like, I love the God of War games. I feel like the God of War games are much like the Red Dead Redemption 2. If you haven't played it, you're doing yourself a disservice as a gamer, or as a fan of games. Like, this is one of those shows that I cannot wait to watch. I can't wait to see a trailer for. 2027 can't come soon enough. Man of Tomorrow, The Batman Part 2, God of War. I am here for it. I really am. And, you know, as far as Christopher Judge, I hope he gets a cameo or some type of role in the show. But if not, a pretty good consolation prize. Recently, somebody asked Christopher Judge if he would play Darkseid in the DCU for James Gunn's new DCU, and he said he'd be down. So I think that voice, and like, Darkseid doesn't do crazy fighting. He, you know, he's more of a general, you know, and he sends his forces out, and, you know, if he does fighting, it's a lot of like heavy grabs and then saying some deep dark lines. Fuck you, Superman. You know, like, I could picture Christopher Judge nailing that and absolutely crushing it. So James Gunn, hit up your boy Christopher Judge, and also hit up Sam Raimi if you want him to direct some DCU films. But comment below anything we talked about today, your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And also, a Night of the Seven Kingdoms breakdown will be coming very, very soon. I'm debating, because that show comes out on Sundays, should I do the Night of the Seven Kingdoms breakdowns on Monday and then move this Weekly Nerdy News to Wednesday or Friday or Tuesday, or move it from my normal Monday schedule? Or should I just put out a Night of the Seven Kingdoms on Tuesdays and keep the schedule as normal and just move it to Tuesday? And then that would mean that the Rip movie review will be coming out on Wednesday. So stay tuned for more, you guys. And plenty of stuff to come, and unboxings for Hot Toy figures coming out over the weekend. Once again, my name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for sticking around this far in the video. If you want to talk more with me about any of the topics we talked about today, or commenting down in the comment section below, or if you just want to chat in general, my other social media links are down in the description below. And if you made it this far and you'd like to support the channel, the best way of doing that is commenting below, liking this video, subscribing if you haven't already, hitting that bell so you don't miss future Comically Boston weekly nerdy news podcasts, and you get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name is Big Cam, and I will see you gorgeous people in the next video. Peace!